Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Third Generation Wrestling Podcast, 3GW, here on a Monday night, here to talk about a retrospective. I'm your host, Mr. Eric, joined by my co-host, Mr. Rob. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I had a day off today because we're celebrating the great Martin Luther King, so got to watch this Rumble, and we're in the midst of Rumble season. I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh, yeah. We definitely had, I had the day off as well. But normally I would have had to work, but I took the day off. And one of the final things I took from the house I grew up in, once I moved away from my parents and all that stuff, there was a handful of things I took. And one of them was a painting of Martin Luther King that's hanging up in my new home as we speak. So
Good for you, man. Good for you.
oh yeah. They also had Malcolm X and Nelson Mandela, but they took those.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I'd have grabbed up that Malcolm X.
Yeah. So I got the big man. I got old Martin. But we're here to discuss Royal Rumble. Can't talk today. Royal Rumble 1998, as chosen by Mr. Rob, part one of our retrospective series this month. Instead of doing the whole card for each Royal Rumble, we just decided, hey, let's just cover the main event, the Royal Rumble match itself. And quite an interesting choice. What made you decide to pick this one?
Well, I actually wanted to choose one a little bit older. I wanted to choose 92, where my GOAT, Ric Flair, came in at number 3 and went on to win. But me being the older guy, I thought, well, let me pick something that might kind of be in the wheelhouse of all of us, one that we've all seen or are familiar with. And 1998 was a time when some people will say maybe the roster was the greatest it ever had. I mean, you had The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Owen Hart. I mean, you know, the list goes on. Now, all of these wrestlers ended up, a lot of them weren't in the Rumble match itself. And I realized that as I watched it back. But I just thought this was just a time when WWF, it was called at the time, their roster was maybe the greatest it's ever been, so I thought it would make for a good Rumble.
Yeah. Definitely. I had thought I had seen this, but I guess it was the next year, the one I had seen. Because this will be the first one, and we'll talk about who wins when we get there. But this card took place, as we said, 1998 in San Jose, California, at the San Jose Arena. Attendance of 18,542. And it's funny because here we are in 2021, and just this last year in 2020, we were talking about this same guy that was a special guest, Mike Tyson. It's crazy that 23 years later, we're still talking about him. Being relevant in not only boxing, but wrestling. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, man, it is. But, you know, Mike Tyson is an absolute legend, not just in the boxing world, but just in pop culture. Anybody who's, 30 years or over, you know who Mike Tyson is.
Mm-hmm. The baddest man on the planet.
Yep.
Yeah. So, real quick, before we get to the actual Rumble match, just want to go over some of the other results on the card. So, spoiler alert, if you are looking to watch the whole show and haven't seen it, pause the show now, go watch it, and then come back. Because I'm getting ready to give all the results except for the Rumble results. But it's 98 show. You should have seen it by now if you're a wrestling fan. So Vader faced the artist formerly known as Goldust with Luna, and and Vader won. Max Mini, Mosaic, and Nova defeated Battalion, El Torito, and Tarantula. This was a 6-man tag team match with Sonny as the special guest referee. Interesting. I might have to go look at that one. The Rock defeated Ken Shamrock by disqualification. What did you say?
No, I was just saying, I don't remember any of those guys, so...
Right.
Yeah, I might have to go remind myself.
Like, who the hell's Battalion? Like I said, The Rock defeated Ken Shamrock by disqualification. That was a singles match for the Intercontinental Championship. Legion of Doom, Animal and Hawk defeated New Age Outlaws by disqualification. Oh, look, nothing's changed. And, of course, the main event after the Rumble was Shawn Michaels defending the WWF Championship against The Undertaker, and he did retain. I'm guessing with the help of Triple H in China. So that's the card. So, getting to the Rumble match itself. Of course, Howard Finkel residing over the Rumble. And the winner, obviously, will go on to face Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14. So, number one entrant. Kicking it off here. And it was nice to hear this music kicking it off because I had no idea who was first. I had personally never seen this Royal Rumble. So, as soon as I heard the music kicking on, I was like, oh, Cactus Jack, let's go. And, he comes out, got his trash can with him. And then, entrant number 2. No music. And I can hear something buzzing, and then this dude comes out with a chainsaw, with baby powder, and a stocking cap over his face. I'm like, who is this? Chainsaw Charlie. And I'm looking at him like, why does it look familiar? Oh. Terry Funk, okay. I had no idea he had an alternative character ever. And my God, why do you look like you about to rob the bank with a freaking chainsaw? You got to give me some histrionics on this thing.
Well, I do remember this gimmick. I don't remember it lasting very long. Mick Foley and Terry Funk had a close relationship at this time because Foley absolutely idolized Terry Funk, who, I mean, some people say is the father of hardcore. Definitely a hardcore legend. So they had matches together. They would sometimes team up. And, this terrible gimmick of Chainsaw Charlie, which is kind of like a cheap rip-off based the guy from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. He would actually come to the ring with a chainsaw. But yeah, it was a horrible gimmick. Luckily, it did not last very long.
Well, I was a little concerned because you can hear this thing, and he's just swinging it, and fans got their arms out. And what is wrong with y'all, number one? Okay. And then, the 2 men get in the ring, and I don't know. They looked like they were gassed just from walking to the ring because the punches themselves weren't really hitting, but these chair shots were. No hands being put up. These two took turns hitting each other in the head with steel chairs. Charlie hitting Cactus more times. I mean, bending this steel chair over his head. Oh, my God. So then we get entry number 3. Somebody else I've never heard of. Tom Brandy. Apparently he went by Salvatore or something, I guess, previously. He like gets in the ring, gets thrown out immediately. Like, he probably was the quickest entrant in the whole Rumble. After that, After that, we get the Intercontinental Champion, The Rock. And, he makes his way, but of course he's a member of the Nation of Domination. And we got all 6 members of the Nation in this Rumble. Was it 6 of them?
Yeah, I believe so. But I think Savio Vega, had left the Nation at this time. But
yeah, he wasn't in it, but
right.
the other, all of them in this match.
Yeah.
Rock comes out, and this is transition Rock. He's not Rocky Maivia, but he's not quite the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising, that guy yet. And he gets a trash can dumped on his head and then gets punched through the ropes and thrown out the ring. Not over the top, but just through the ropes. And I'm just like, wow, okay. After that, we get Headbanger Mosh. And then, of course, we get, in entry number 6, the man who's, according to JR, he's just a biscuit away from 315. Phineas Godwin. A.K.A. for y'all that don't know, Midian from the Ministry of Darkness. And then we get 8 Ball, who I absolutely positively have never heard of.
8 Ball is one of those guys. It's amazing how when you watch some of these shows this far back, how many guys you forgot about, how many guys you're like, where are they now? But yeah, 8 Ball is one of those. When he first came out, at first glance, I'm like, is that Stone Cold? Because he was bald, he had the leather jacket on. But
He looked like Bryan Adams to me.
Yeah, I could see that as well. But yeah, 8 Ball was one of those guys I had completely forgotten about.
Did you know? Because I had to look him up. He was a twin. There was 2 of them. They played one character. Both the brothers played. So Ronald and Donald Harris played 8 Ball.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yep.
You
And
couldn't make it work.
yeah, he was only WWF for 2 years. Cactus Jack eliminated by Charlie. But it wouldn't be the last time we saw Mick Foley in this match. And then Jerry the King Lawler got on the broadcast saying, "Oh, I heard from a good source that Stone Cold Steve Austin was attacked, and he won't be in the match." And this was really, really bad storytelling. I didn't watch the whole show, so I'm not sure if there was something previous that might have led to him getting jumped, that led to Jerry saying that. I don't know. But I guess that's one of the downsides of not watching the whole show. You miss some things. After that, we get, oh my God, Black Jack Bradshaw. And that awful facial hair. I mean, it looks worse now than it did WrestleMania 13. Owen Hart, number 9, attacked by a long-haired Jeff Jarrett and Jim Cornette. Jeff Jarrett was the NWA North American champion at the time. I had never seen Jeff Jarrett with long hair, so that was different. And number 10, Steve Blackman. Man, he was jacked. I forgot how big the dude was.
Yeah.
And he was rocking the Wolverine chest hair back then.
Yeah, I used to call him Steve Blackman because of the way he spelled his last name.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we get another Nation member, D'Lo Brown. And then he gets in the match and he starts throwing hands with The Rock. And they just emphasize, hey, it's every man for himself. Okay, and then we get another throwback here. Kurgan. Wow. I was like, oh, so Great Khali 1.0. Looked him up to. He was only in WWF from 97 to 99. He got in the ring. He eliminated Mosh. And I mean, I don't know if he spoke English or not, but he didn't during this match. But yeah, really big guy, legit 6'11", really, really just a giant. And oddly enough, his physical attributes, he looks like Great Khali almost. Following that, we get Mark Merrow with Sable. And then Kurgan eliminated Steve Blackman. Ken Shamrock followed at number 14. And he came in, I mean, doing his moves and doing kicks. And he helped eliminate, along with like 4 other people, they eliminated Kurgan and got him out. Number 15, Thrasher from the Headbangers. Number 16 was Mankind, who got in and eliminated Chainsaw Charlie. So Mick Foley's back in the match as his second alter ego. Now, see, when he eliminated Chainsaw Charlie, air quotes, I thought we would get Terry Funk later on, but that wasn't the case. Then we got Goldust, or the artist formerly known as Goldust. What in the fuck was he wearing? I mean, he had on the silver outfit and a bikini taped on it with red and black face paint and blue hair. What the hell?
Yeah, Goldust was a strange character. Every incarnation of Goldust was strange. This was no different. And at this time, he was going by the artist formerly known as Goldust. That was kind of a takeoff. You know, my favorite musical artist of all time, Prince, had changed his name previous to this. He had changed it to this unpronounceable symbol. It's a long story and, you know, not worth talking about on this podcast. But, yeah, Goldust, as kind of a takeoff on that, changed his name and he changed his look and then changed his name to the artist formerly known as Goldust.
He couldn't come up with no better look than that shit.
Apparently not.
And then at number 18, we do get the official entry of the NWA North American Champion, Jeff Jarrett. But then Owen Hart comes out following that, jumps Jarrett from behind and throws him out. So, not a long night for Jeff Jarrett. And then we get the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky Tonk Man. And why was Triple H and Chyna right behind him? Was that just coincidence? Or was it just because Owen was out there?
You know, as far as I remember, they didn't have any relationship to Honky Tonk Man. Honky Tonk Man was not even a regular on the roster at this time, if I recall correctly. So, yeah, I'm not sure why they followed him out. I think, like you're saying, it must have been something to do with Owen at that point.
Yeah, okay. Because so Triple H is coming out on crutches, and he is the current European champion. Yes, there was a European championship for you young listeners. And they attack Owen Hart and get him eliminated and breaking a crutch over his back. And, I mean, those shots Triple H was landing on Owen, didn't look like he was taking anything off of him. So
this was a different time. We weren't as aware of concussion issues as we are now. You know, we talked earlier about Foley and Funk giving each other those chair head right to the head,
right
no hand up, just taking them. Yeah, just at the time as fans and I guess as wrestlers, none of us were as aware at that time.
It's crazy. Like, cringe-worthy, like, especially at the beginning of the match. I'm seeing these two older. I mean, Foley was younger, but Funk was not. And just to take that chair shot to the crown of the head, it's just like, oh, my God.
Yeah, Funk was 53 at the time of this match. He looked older.
I can't imagine. Then we get Ahmed Johnson. Oh, man, this brother here coming out with the big-ass earrings and the do-rag and like I mentioned on WrestleMania 13, his ring gear, so I'm not going to get into that right now. But so he's number 20, and then Mark Henry, number 21, making his Royal Rumble debut. So that was pretty cool to be able to watch that. 22, no entrant, and this was supposed to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, but nobody ever they didn't follow up with this. So nothing ever happened. Nobody ever came out. So really, this was a 29-man Royal Rumble when you really think about it. Kama, a.k.a. Godfather, was next. And then, in number 24, we do get Stone Cold Steve Austin. The glass shatters. You hear the music. Everything stops in the ring. Everybody's standing up. But Steve Austin comes from behind, attacks Mark Merrill first, throws his ass out. And he eliminated 8 Ball. And then he just started putting the boots to everybody. 25, Henry Godwin, and that Henry Godwin, that outfit, yeah, you can't wear that. You can't wear that shit no more.
Yeah, I was looking at them Confederate flags. Like,
yeah,
you wouldn't see that today.
Yeah, no, that's very, very interesting. Very interesting. Then we get 26, Savio Vega with his new faction, I guess. I don't remember. I didn't catch the name. I was trying to listen. But with JR.
La Furiquas or Los Furiquas, something like that.
Oh, okay. It's hard to hear because JR and King were always fighting by this point. So. And then the leader, the final member of Nation of Domination, Farouk, who comes in and he goes straight for The Rock. And I'm guessing this was around the time that The Rock was trying to circumvent Farouk as the leader, and was talking trash. Is this the show where they had the backstage promo and The Rock's kind of rolling his eyes at Farouk while he's talking?
It could be. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, that very well could be.
Yeah, but in fairness, he did attack everybody else in the nation too. So again, every man for himself. Then we get the final incarnation of Mick Foley, Dude Love. And that was the one the crowd wanted to see the most. Because you could see in the crowd all the Dude Love shirts and people wearing glasses and wigs. He eliminated Bradshaw. And then The Rock, you could see putting down an early version of the People's Elbow on D-Lo. Still looked good, but, the crowd wasn't into it yet because it wasn't a thing yet. So he's still trying to get it over. All right. Yeah, help me out again. Number 29, Chains.
All right. Well, Chains is the brother of 8 Ball. And they were a tag team called the Disciples of the Apocalypse, DOA. Like I said, short-lived, kind of a biker gimmick thing, but yeah, it just never really got over. But yeah, that's who Chains is.
Gotcha. And then last but not least, at number 30, it's time. It's time. Big Van Vader. It's good to see Vader. Hopefully he gets in the Hall of Fame. Did they put him in the Hall of Fame?
No, Vader is still not in the Hall of Fame, man. It's long overdue.
It's okay. Damn. They got to get him in there. That's
Maybe
a shame.
this year, yeah.
So all the entrants are in the ring now, and we get Austin eliminating Kama and Vega. It goes pretty fast after this point. Vader gets eliminated by Goldust, surprisingly. There's a few other eliminations, and we pretty much get down to the final four, being The Rock, Farouk, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Mick Foley. I put The Rock twice in my notes. I don't know why. Farouk eliminates Dude Love. Rock eliminates Farouk. And it's down to what would soon become one of the biggest feuds of all time, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin thinks he's won. He throws The Rock over the top rope. Rock climbs back in. Austin hits a stunner and then throws The Rock over the top one last time, and he's on his way to WrestleMania to face Shawn Michaels. As we all would know, this will become the infamous, Michaels-Austin match with Mike Tyson as the enforcer. So, yep. That is Royal Rumble 1998. Of course, all this is to lead up to this year's Rumble, taking place January 31st, at the end of the month. It's just nice to look back at Royal Rumbles. I mean, throughout the year, I go back and look at them because it is, and we had a chance to go to one, 2018. Really good show. Too damn long. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long one. We were so tired after that weekend. I mean, that's the thing. When we go to, do these pay-per-views, it's usually a big event, and we usually do whatever they got going on. We did it. We did TakeOver, we did Access, and we did Royal Rumble. Had we had more time, maybe we would have gone to Raw. Maybe. If Raw wasn't 3 hours. Yeah.
Right.
Because after 5 hours of Rumble, I don't think I could stomach another 3 hours of, then it's television, so then you got to stop for commercials and stuff. Nah. But I did enjoy that Rumble. That's the one Seth Rollins won, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was Seth Rollins and Becky.
Yeah, Becky.
I believe.
Ironically.
Won the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I've said this before, man. I love the Rumble. It's my favorite wrestling event of the year. I know most people look forward to WrestleMania. I do too. But I just love the Rumble match. I just think it was a very interesting concept. It still holds up. And we know that the winner of the Rumble will get to wrestle for the championship at Mania. It really helps to shape the road to WrestleMania. And so it's exciting in that way. And, I just love it.
So, speaking of the road to WrestleMania, make sure you check out that podcast, episode 1. The post show for Royal Rumble 2021 will kind of be like episode 1.2, or because we're continuing on the journey, and this is part of it as well, just getting ourselves psyched up for this year's Royal Rumble, which hopefully will deliver. Some of the matches on the card are head scratchers, but hey, that's why we watch, because if nothing else, it gives us something to talk about.
Podcast sometime.
Yeah. Make sure you check out that show. Myself, Rob, Book, and at the tail end, Doc showed up. So make sure you check that out, and also make sure you gotta check out the Best and Worst of 2020 podcast for all the right and wrong reasons.
Yeah. That's a memorable one.
I don't think I'll ever be able to forget that show. Where were you?
Yep.
Man. That, and we also have our TLC post show is available. And yeah, make sure you come back. Check us out next week as we will be reviewing yet another Royal Rumble match that I chose. You just have to wait and see which one it is. But that's coming up next week. And then the following week after that will be Royal Rumble 2021. The post show, which should have almost the whole crew, if not the whole crew, again. So that's what we got going on. That's what we got coming up. And that's what is set. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Third Generation Wrestling Podcast. You can download and stream on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Google Podcasts, YouTube as well, and of course Podbean. think that's everything. Mr. Rob.
Hey, always want to thank the listeners. We appreciate y'all. Let's hear from you.
That's it from everybody. And of course, stay safe. I know that depending on where you live, you may be getting different. You may be in a different tier than the town next to you or the county next to you. But please, if you ain't got to go out, don't go out. Don't be socializing and being in large groups gathering. We're never going to get back to normal if we can't get this thing under wraps. And, the only way to do it is if we just chill and let it go away, and then we can all go back to partying. So.
Absolutely. I want a stadium full of wrestling fans. I want to go to a live show, and I want a sellout crowd. I want wild and crazy fun like it always is at a WWE show.
Yeah, we started this podcast in the, thinking that, we're going to make more of an effort to go to shows so we could cover them on the podcast. And literally, like as soon as we started getting it rolling, pandemic hit. So we want to go back to the shows. We haven't been since November 2019. That was the last wrestling show we went to. So we would like to go back. Maybe this year, WrestleMania has fans. I might make it happen. So we'll see. But yes, wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, stay safe. We'll speak to y'all again next week.